UFC hot takes, open bracket, only casuals disagree, closed bracket. What's going on? It's your boy DaggMMA. And today we're going to be going over UFC hot takes where only casuals disagree. So if you disagree with any of the following hot takes, I hate to be the guy that breaks it to you, but you, sir, are, or female, you, madam, sir or madam, you are a UFC casual, and there's nothing wrong with being a casual, okay? Not all of us, okay? Not all of us can be sophisticated and intellectual and reliable sources of UFC wisdom, okay? Not everybody can be a beacon of hope for those who are mentally disabled in terms of UFC understanding and ability. But let's get into it. Let's waste no more time, man. Well, what's the first hot take we got on? Chimaev has a good gas tank. This is a great opinion that all of us hardcore fans agree with, okay? Chimaev has a great gas tank, and only people who don't understand the sport and how fighting is disagree with this, okay? Because let me pose you this hypothetical. Let me ask you this question right here. Have you ever said, or have you ever asked someone if Gilbert Burns has a bad gas tank? Do you believe Gilbert Burns has a bad gas tank? If the answer is no, you do not believe Gilbert Burns has a bad gas tank. Maybe it's not the best gas tank. Maybe it's not Marab level gas tank. Maybe it's not, you know, a crazy Anthony Hernandez gas tank. But Gilbert Burns does not have a bad gas tank. You believe that. I believe that. We believe that. But, you know, people say Gilbert Burns doesn't have a bad gas tank, but they say Chimaev has a bad gas tank because against Gilbert Burns, he faded. He faded. He got dropped in that second round. He didn't look good in that second round. Okay, first off, he looked good in that second round. He just had one moment where he looked human. Okay, the whole first round, Chimaev's round easily. He looked really good in that first round, dropped Gilbert Burns. It was actually a pretty close first round. I'd say the first round was a lot closer than the second round. And then Chimaev got the drop and got the first round. In the second round, it was Chimaev's round, and then he got dropped because he was just too aggressive. Okay, he wanted to go in there and put on a show for the people. Okay, me thinking about that second round and how Chimaev put us ahead of his own health and well-being. It brings a tear to my eye a little bit. But he got dropped in that third round, and, you know, Gilbert Burns did win, and he did have some moments in that second round as well. But when we take a look to that third round, what happened in that third round? Who was pushing the pace? It was Chimaev. If you have not seen that fight in a long time, go back. Rewatch that fight. Rewatch that. I don't care if you watch the first two rounds. I don't care. Rewatch the third round and tell me who was pushing the pace, who had a next gear in terms of cardio, who had, you know, they were here in terms of gears. But in that third round, Chimaev went one level higher and pushed the pace in that third round. And Gilbert Burns does not have a bad gas tank at all. Not the best, but not a bad gas tank. And Chimaev went above his gas tank. So we know it's at least better than Gilbert Burns, who has a good gas tank. So it's better than good gas tank. Better than a good gas tank. Also, you got to remember, Chimaev was cutting down to 170. Fact number one. Fact number two. Count it up, ref. Fact number two. That was in Ramadan. Chimaev was fighting. Also, we have to take a look at the Kamaru Usman fight. Oh, dude, he gassed against Kamaru Usman. If that was a 5-round fight, he would have lost because I'm an idiot casual who doesn't understand the sport. That's basically what you're saying when you say Usman would have won if it was a 5-round fight. First off, can you tell me the winning lottery numbers? Okay? You can't. Because you don't know what you don't know. All right? And Kamaru Usman has the best cardio at 170. He's known for... People thought he was on EPO because that's how good his cardio is. And Chimaev was able to match his cardio. First round, Chimaev dominated. Okay, shut down and dominated. Okay? Gilbert Burns caught Chimaev. Usman got dominated. Okay? But yeah, first round, 10-8 round. Second round, pretty close. Give it Chimaev. Third round, pretty close. Give it Chimaev again. All right. And you can't really be like, oh, well, Chimaev was slowing down in that third round, therefore Usman would have won in the fourth. You don't know that. You don't know that. For all we know, Chimaev could have gotten a second win and submitted him in the fourth, okay? Look to Khabib versus Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor won the third round, and Khabib looked like he was starting to slow down. And then what happened in that fourth round? If that was a 3-round fight between Conor McGregor and Khabib, people would have said, oh, dude, if that was a 5-round fight, Conor would have won because Khabib was slowing down in the third. Well, that's not the case. That's not the case. Khabib submitted Conor in the fourth, as we all know. Sadly, might I add. But yeah, for all we know, Chimaev could have submitted Usman in the fourth round. Next, hot take. Ilia still hasn't been fully tested. He just hasn't. Okay, look at his wins. Look what he went from Josh Emmett. I understand. I saw a lot of people comparing his win over Josh Emmett to Max Holloway's win over Calvin Kattar. Max Holloway's win over Calvin Kattar is way better. Okay, because that was prime Calvin Kattar. Josh Emmett. Has this guy ever had a prime? I don't think I've never heard anybody say, dude, prime Josh Emmett? Prime Josh Emmett was getting brutally finished by the real hardest hitting 145er. So, yes, he got a 10-7, but, you know, one judge had it 49-46, I believe, right? But yeah, Ilia wasn't tested against Josh Emmett. Volk was coming off a KO. 35 years old, that's not being tested, coming off a loss. Name a time when a champion is fighting a contender and the champion is coming off a loss. I don't know when that's happened. Max Holloway cutting down to 145. I understand he called out Ilia after beating Justin Gaethje, but still, you know, that wasn't, I guess it's kind of prime Holloway, but still, Max was beating him up before he got KO'd. So if that's at 155, Max wins that because his chin's better. And then against Oliveira, people saying, oh, dude, Ilia KO'd Oliveira, whereas Islam did this. Well, Oliveira was at his peak confidence coming into the Islam fight. Huge win streak, hasn't lost, beaten everybody, finished everybody. But against Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira got finished by Islam. Lost to Armand, beat Michael Chandler, big whoop. So Ilia still has not been fully tested. He gets tested by guys like Armand, gets tested by guys like Islam. Those guys that can, even Max Holloway at 155, I think is a better test than 145. So yeah, Ilia has not been tested yet. He just hasn't. Facts. O'Malley still got it. Maybe I'm emotional. Maybe I just love O'Malley on a deeper level and I'm really emotional. But I still feel as if O'Malley still got it. Maybe some hardcore fans disagree with this one, but I still feel like O'Malley got it deep down because you got to think about it. Who is O'Malley lost to? O'Malley is undefeated outside of one guy, and that is named Merab Dvalishvili. Merab the Machine, and Merab is chalked up to be the GOAT of bantamweight, the all-time best fighter, and that is the only guy Sean O'Malley has ever lost to. People are saying O'Malley's washed. If O'Malley is ass, if O'Malley is buns, what does that make Merab? Ask yourself that, right? You got a lucky finish. No, I'm kidding. But still, the first fight, I gave the first fight to O'Malley. And a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but that's because you're a dumbass casual bitch. Moving on. People are still juiced to the tits. As you can see by this example of Carlos Leal. Do I need to say anything? Do I need to say anything? Look at Carlos Leal and tell me this guy's tits are not juiced the fuck up. Tell me he's not juiced to the fucking titties, okay? Tell me there's not steroid liquid flowing out of those milkers, man. There is, 100%. Carlos Leal on the sauce. Let me know who you guys think are on the sauce, because I feel like there's a bunch of guys. I feel like Peyton Tabit is on the Shazul, is what I call it. Paulo Costa, I don't believe. There's some guys, Adesanya, I don't believe he's on the Shazul. I don't. Carlos Leal, though, this guy can go 15 minutes hard as fuck. Okay, Carlos Leal is the embodiment of a penis on a boner pill. You know, hard the entire time, next level poundage. He can go, he's throwing bombs for 15 minutes straight. Oh shit, throwing bombs for 15 minutes straight. and not slowing down at all. Superpower. Look what he did to Renat Fakhretdinov. Rewatch that fight if you haven't seen that fight in a while. Rewatch the Alex Morono fight, but Alex Morono's shit anyway, so does that tell you, you know, not anything? Not really. But look at him. Look at the pimples this guy has all over his body. This guy's 40 years old, and he's got the same amount of pimples as a pubescent 17-year-old. Tell me he's not on steroids? Yeah, okay. Nice one, buddy. Carlos Leal's 22 and looks 38. Last hot take I got is fighters are not underpaid. People always complain about fighters are underpaid. Bro, look at boxing. They get paid millions of dollars. Boxers at the top get paid millions of dollars. Co-main event, super drop off. The main event of a boxing card is like 20 mil. Co-main event is like 150K, and then the next one down is 10K. UFC pays a real good amount, and you got to think about the costs, right? The cost of all this stuff. I feel like not a lot of people understand the amount of promotion that goes into the UFC, the amount of steroid testing, right? People always talk about, oh, dude, the NBA, dude, they give like 50% of their earnings to the players, whereas the UFC only give like 18% of their earnings. Well, the UFC is paying out of pocket for steroid tests. They have a roster of like what, maybe like 600 to 900 fighters. A steroid test costs a lot of money, and they're doing them 2 times a month. And if you think LeBron James is getting steroid tested at all, you are stupid. Okay, NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB, those companies do the steroid testing themselves, so they can choose, okay, I'm gonna steroid test this guy once, steroid test this guy once, and I'm gonna give them a notice so I can turn a blind eye without turning a blind eye. Whereas UFC, they are controlled by an athletic commission. You hear it all the time. Nevada State Athletic Commission, California State Athletic Commission. They are controlled and governed by a third party to conduct the steroid tests. Whereas a lot of these big companies, so you got to think about the cost of steroid tests alone. Do you know how much it costs to do like an EPO test on one fighter? One fighter, $20,000. It costs more to test a fighter than it does to pay a fighter. Okay, so that's why it's so expensive. They're not underpaid. They're paid a good amount. It is what it is. But let me know what you guys think. It's been your boy DaggMMA. Let me know if you want more of this stuff. This is my last slide. The end. Shout out Alexa Grasso. I love you, Alexa Grasso. Please marry me. But it's been your boy DaggMMA signing out. Peace.